opponents out of the lane. That good old brand of football. These rivals fought behind. But come on, coach, to good old coach. Best team you can find, yeah.
Welcome again, folks, to Cougar Vision Edition 5. Well, it's the halfway mark of the season, and it's a little disappointing not to have a team inside the top 4, but there really are some encouraging signs. None more so perhaps than the seniors, who have really hit their straps in the last couple of weeks. Tonight's episode, not only will we be taking a look at all of the action, we also have a very interesting player interview. We'll be talking to the doc about a few injury updates, and of course a social wrap. So let's just get stuck right into it, and into the under-18s.
Playing Mitcham, we knew we had a massive challenge on our hands, as they are a side just out of the 4 by percentage and a team that had beaten us by 70 points in round 1. This challenge was also partly due to having 9 players out. Again, Sedgie was thankful for a big list and some under-16s filling in when in great need. The theme of the day was to play as a team and not as individuals. Sedgie went over the team word many times before they ran out, trying to drill into the boys that no matter which individuals we were missing from the side, if we stuck together and worked hard, a team can still win. The first half was extremely close, but from Sedgie's perspective, he knew after the first quarter that the wet and sloppy conditions were going to work in our favour, as we had strong in and under mids and fit numbers all across the ground. Jaden tried coaching to their strengths and it was going well, but probably not scoring from 5 or 6 inside 50s in the second quarter had us 5 points down at half time. In the third quarter we only managed to score 1 behind after having most of the footy, and Mitcham hurt us when they needed to by converting from 2 easy turnovers. At 3/4 time, Sedge gave the challenge and let the boys know that Mitcham were tiring and we still had the fighting spirit we went into the match with. But unfortunately, with having the footy in our midst for the greater part of the term again, we couldn't quite score enough to bring it home. Summing it up in one word from Sedgie and a lot of our under-18 supporters, it would be proud. In the best was Andy Locke for putting his hand up and playing an outstanding game, James Young for his continuous work rate, Ben Hogan for having a hot missus and for working hard down back, and Mick Bennett for leading his team terrifically in a tough match. Thanks again to Corker, Braids and Kurtlis for their contribution.
To the Magoos now, who since Baroni have really started to play much better, more consistent football, and in turn had a great win against Mitcham on the weekend. Rodney Williams also doing well with another great game. Now, most of you probably think Rodney's made his return from the Vison, but in fact Rodney has actually come back from overseas where he's been competing on the athletics circuit. Now let's take a look at all the action from the game.
We had spent the first half of the year building our fitness and gelling as a team, and in the last few weeks it had started coming together. A few experienced inclusions over the last few weeks of Sauce, Mickey Glassborough, Patrick Murphy and Willow had certainly helped the cause. Mitcham had embarrassed us in round 1 and we were after redemption. Paddy, Willow and Starkey were great in the middle. Richo managed to snag a couple of early ones, and when Truey started capitalising up forward, we were right in the game. Truey's goal celebrations were terrific, and he even decided to start celebrating when he laid a tackle. Backline held firm in the second half and we continued to run the lines and go long and direct into the forward line with great results. 2 goals up at 3/4 time was a just reward for our hard effort. A few cool heads in the dying minutes saw us record our second win for the year with a very close but very justified 4-point win. Best were Truey with 5 goals, Starkey, Morsey, Haydo, Mickey Glass and Goose Murphy. Special mention to Shawnee Bennett, who got cleaned up in the last quarter and showed exactly the type of courage and determination that we will see this side get better and better over the last half of the season.
Now the seniors, no doubt the most impressive with a season-defining win against the top team Doncaster. Ben Garrington put aside his head wobble to put in a best-on-ground performance. Jai Conrail also popping up with 4 goals. Then of course last week against Mitcham it was a complete reversal from round 1. 175 points in fact. Let's take a look at all the action.
Round 1 did not go to plan. Round 10 did. This time it was us who jumped out of the blocks and led by 5 goals at quarter time. We kept piling on the goals throughout the day and ended up winning by 75 points. A wonderful turnaround from round 1 with many great contributors across the ground.
I like big butts and I cannot lie.
Now before we move on to the doc for an injury update, we need to make special mention of a very special performance from Joshua Gordon. Joshua on the weekend managed to kick 7 sausage rolls, but what was the most impressive part of that performance was the way he celebrated those goals.
This is your celebration. Celebrate good times, come on. Celebrate. Celebrate good times, come on. Let's celebrate. There's a party going on right here. A celebration to last throughout the years.
Now we actually have some footage of Josh before the game on Friday night practicing his celebrations. Looking sharp and incredibly sophisticated, we're over to Dr. Adam Daniels for an injury update.
Yes, Wayne. We still do have quite a lot of injuries down at the club at the moment, but it's great to see that quite a few blokes have been returning. I'd just like to take you through a few of these injuries right now, if we can just get the graphic up. Yep, there it is. Aaron Sedgman suffered a case of pash rash, and if he passes the test this week he will be available. Paul Wagner pulled out of the first last week because of jet lag, but managed to play a game in the twos. Steve-O made a welcome return after the scab on his ankle finally fell off. He will be available again. Kerr is still struggling with his corky and looks like he'll be out for another 16 to 18 weeks. Shawnee Bennett was taken away in an ambulance on Saturday after a heavy collision. He suffered broken ribs, a bruised lung. And Chicken Hawk looks like a lesbian. That's about it for me. Back to you, Wayne.